Where do the Saints go from here? All right. Absolute shellacking in Seattle. The Saints, here we go. So Nick Underhill, Mike Triplett is the backdrop, New Orleans football. The answer, it sounds kind of funny. It sounds kind of like a meme, but the answer is Buffalo. Like the answer is week 4. The answer is we got to keep moving forward. And this team, we predicted the Saints would have 6 wins, right? That's what we said before the season. Now, quick math, that's 11 losses. We got 3 so far. So, almost best case, we've got 8 more losses coming, okay? You got to keep putting one week in front of the other. You got to keep improving. You got to fix mistakes. You got to build something, all right? Newsflash. Unless this is a repeat of 2017, I don't think the Saints are going to go on a run and make the playoffs, win the NFC South, win 10 games, win 11 games, whatever. They could, but I don't think so. And I don't think anyone expected that going into the season. So everything is still in front of us. And it's kind of hard to frame it, right? It's kind of hard to see that because I think the normal response, the normal, like, how you watch sports, whatever, it's like win at all costs. Nothing matters but winning, right? Win-loss, that's all that matters. You want to have a better record than everyone else. Super Bowl or bust. You hear that all the time, right? If you're not competing for the NFC South, don't even win a game, right? With the Saints and any team rebuilding, I mean, this can go for any bad team. Go for Tennessee, Carolina, whoever, right? You got to just see what works, see what players are long-term, see what the system is long-term, see where you're bad, see where you're good, see what you need to fix in the offseason, what you need to fix in the draft, what players you need to move around. For example, does Quincy Riley need to play more? Does Danny Stutzman need to play more? Does blank player need to play more? Does blank player need to play less? All of that comes into play.
All right, Mike joins us now from Lumen Field in Seattle for the he stepped over the chalk line and he's here.
Nicky, new haircuts? Is this a new hairstyle? Is Nick debuting a hairstyle? I feel like this is a different look. I feel like this is what's going on here. Maybe it's the camera.
Here to give us the rundown of what's going on out there.
I think Mike's got a new haircut too, or a new beard.
Let's go from here.
As you can see, the sun is setting. You can see the reflection of the sun setting. That's the Saints 2025 season. No, there's no poetry to come from this game, man.
The sun sets on hope.
This was a slap in the face. I'm going to give you a little sneak preview of what I'm writing about. It was like when Bud Crawford hit Canelo and Canelo realized, oh, so he's not just hitting me, he's hitting me. Like,
yeah,
that's what happened today.
See, okay. On one hand, sure. Like, you just got beat 44-13. It was an absolute right cross to the face, 100%. On the other hand, if you go back to kind of what I said, like the sun set, like the idea that the sun set on the season, all right? Yeah, if you were assuming or expecting or whatever that the Saints were going to have 8, 9, 10, 11 wins, yeah, that this is a hard pill to swallow. Like if you still think that. If you think this is a young rebuilding team that can win 5, 6 games, whatever, then the sun hasn't set on the season. We lost to Arizona, Seattle, and San Francisco. We've got Carolina twice. We got Atlanta twice. We've got the Titans, the Patriots, the Bears, the Dolphins, the Giants, the Jets. We got bad teams on the schedule. Got more home games on the schedule. The season is not predicated by wins and losses in this case. It is by who is playing well, what we have for the future, what is Kellen Moore doing. When we have games like this, the question is, can we bounce back? Can we fix the mistakes? If we have special team issues like we did, and we have, can you fix it? You got pre-snap penalty problems? Can you fix it?
There's no fooling. There's no pretending, oh, we were just right there. We cleaned a couple things up. We could have won that game. Nope. If they didn't realize the reality of what they are, they realize the reality of what they are. And it's just going to be, look, this was not the worst locker room I've been in. I think I've been in angrier locker rooms. I think I've been in like more funeral parlor setting locker rooms, but maybe that's because it's still early. Like,
yeah, it's week 3.
It's going to be tough to try and convince anyone who is not part of the long-term plan
that
that anything good is going to come out of this season. Maybe there's still I keep comparing it to the Carolina Panthers last year. They were 1-8, and then they were 4-5 in the second half of the season. They entered this season feeling pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. The Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell's first year, 0-10-1. Carolina Panthers last year, right? Saints last year had a 7-game lose. Like all it happens all the time. Okay. We are in a rebuild. We were in a rebuild the second that the Saints traded Marshawn Lattimore. The rebuild began. I don't think anyone, it would be hard for me to believe that anyone believed anything else. That this team was going to go out there and win the NFC South, or this team was going to go out there and win 10 games. Don't look at me like that, Nicholas. All right? I find it hard to believe that. Does going 0-3 or 0-4 change the perception of what we had going into the season? I don't think so. Okay? I have used this example all week long. When the Detroit Lions, first year with Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, when they went 0-10-1 to start, the 8th game of that stretch, they lost 40-6 at home. Okay? Imagine if the Saints are 0-8 and they have a home game and they lose 40-6. My chat may have to, I can't even imagine what will be going on in my chat. All right? And they finish that season 3-13-1. It is what it is. And this season right here for the Saints, it is what it is. But what does not fix it is firing Kellen Moore, firing whoever, benching Spencer Rattler, trading for whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, you want a rebuild? We're in a rebuild. This is what it feels like. This is what it looks like. Buckle up, Buttercup. Okay? 0-4 could be on the more than likely on the horizon. All right? All you want to see is them to clean things up. Individual performances to be better. Kool-Aid McKinstry has to be better. All right? The offensive line has to be better. The running game has to be better. We have to score points. If we lose 42-24 to the Bills, I'll be the happiest guy in the world because we scored 24 points. We got to score. We got to have success early. We have to do some of that. We have to be better. Have to be better.
Maybe that reality is still there, but who they are now, they saw it today. This there's no miracles coming this season.
Yeah, it's just nasty. This one, this really feels like one of the worst losses. Like, just because, look, and there's been some bad ones over the years, but this legitimately, and I don't even think I'm being a prisoner of the moment here. Like, It just felt inept. Like, from every aspect. I don't know that you could look at any aspect of this game and felt like, you know what, this was good, but this wasn't, and this wasn't.
Stop the run. Absolutely stifled the run.
And it's not an injury thing. It's not a, like, they weren't prepared to play football today.
Yeah.
If after going out there days early, it doesn't feel okay. Like, that feels unacceptable to me that you did all this, you made this big move to go up there, and then you come out and it's not week one, it's worse than week one. Like, we gave them the pass for pre-snap penalties in week one. Hey, we'll see how they grow from this and it gets better. The thing with Kellen Moore is he has to get better. He has to get better the same way his players have to get better, but he has to do it in a way that is happening faster than them so that he can help them then get
100%. You know, like, that does get lost, and we talked about this a little bit this week, that Kellen Moore is a rookie head coach, first-time head coach. He has to develop and get better the same way that Kelvin Banks does, the same way that the players do. In Chicago, first couple of games with Ben Johnson, same thing, where you're looking around like, Ben Johnson's got to be better here. You know, like, this has to change. He's got to be better. Something's got to shift. Something's got to change. The coach, for sure, a first-time head coach, no doubt about it. They are all under the same, they got to find their footing too. You know, they got to find who they are. They got to find how they're going to deal with situations, how they're going to deal with losses like this. How do you deal with a loss at the buzzer, like the Arizona game? How do you deal with a loss like this, where you go on the road and you get beat by 30? You know, like, And Kellen's got to find out those answers in real time. But he does absolutely have to find out those answers.
Better, but like if he's not doing his part, how is Spencer Rattler gonna get better when it's 2nd and 25 and you can't get a playoff because you can't get lined up 3-4 times in a row? That's not okay. Like that is
100%. And that no doubt. Like I think it's easy when you're watching a game or whatever, like in these moments when and it's just, offense is struggling, bench the quarterback. Defense is struggling, fire the DC. Special teams is struggling, fire this person. But Nick's right. When the offense is struggling, because the offense is finding themselves in 2nd and 20s, 3rd and 19, 1st and 20, 1st and 15. We were watching Monday Night Football, and there was a play where Detroit had like a negative 9-yard play on the first down, and all of a sudden it's 2nd and 19. And then they, of course, go 3 and out and punt. And it's like when you do that, even a good team like Detroit or Baltimore or Buffalo, they don't have success in 3rd and 20, 2nd and 20, 1st and 15. Like that is not a marker for success. When you are a bad team or a below average team and you are doing that, you have infinitely worse odds to be successful. The Saints have to clean that stuff up, and that cannot continue. Week 1, ton of pre-snap penalties. Week 2, almost eliminated it. We thought, all right, cool. Week 3, right back. Now, is that because you're playing outside in Seattle? Is that because I have no idea, right? But now you got to see it again. Are we closer to the week 1 and 3 team, or are we closer to the week 2 team when it comes to these penalties?
Firmly on the coaching staff to get that cleaned up. And it happened once, and it looked like it got better in week 2, but then week 3, you go on the road, you go out 3 days early to get ready to play on the road, and you're not ready to play on the road. I'm assuming it was a sound thing. I don't know, but like whatever it was, they weren't ready for it, and they should have been. Like this isn't. I know you're a first time head coach, but like you've coached offense before, you've dealt with noise. You got to have a plan for it. Like, and they didn't.
I need to go back and review the tape of each one of them too. I think it was Chris Olave offered up one explanation for. He said they do a lot of tempo stuff where they're going on one and they're trying to time it up, and their timing's off on that. I mean, one of them was Torricelli Simpkins on one. He'd never played before, and they got him in on the tush push. Olave's play, he said he was in motion and he tried to time it right with it. Like, so timing.
Yeah, I mean, like those, like, and those are good examples where sometimes it has to be on the player too. Chris Olave is the best wide receiver on the team. He's got to be better than in that moment than to get that penalty. And that wasn't, like that. He looked like he was playing in the Arena League. He was getting a head start on his route, and we saw it immediately. Torricelli Simpkins, that's a very difficult situation. You're playing for the first time in Seattle, and you're running the tush push, one of the most like complicated, kind of judged plays in the NFL. Like those moments, those things right there, the player has to have some kind of responsibility as well. Brian Brzee, completely different situation, but Brian Brzee on 3rd and 8, headbutting the guy after a stop. I don't care how many drills you do. I don't care what kind of pregame prep you do. The player has to own that moment and be better.
Penalties, but yeah, it's not prepared. And the worst part, I think, about the Kellen Moore of it all is I think penalties should be correctable. They probably are somewhat correctable, but that doesn't feel like the only thing holding this team back. Like, this is a team that very clearly needs everything to go perfectly to have any success. Like, every touchdown drive feels like it has to be a 12-play drive for this team. And when you're counting on 12-play drives, if not 16-play drives, then you're going to have a false start somewhere along the way. You're going to have.
I agree with that too. And we'll see how it, kind of changes and evolves, but it does feel like the Saints are the ultimate matriculate down the field. They do have to have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 play drives to be successful. And when you do that, one false start, one penalty, one negative play, and the drive's basically over. So at some point, they probably do have to push the ball a little bit. At some point, they do have to explore, okay, how do we, it's fine to be balanced and to be a tempo offense and to be, kind of live in that short to intermediate. You don't have to all of a sudden change your offense, but you do have to have elements of an explosive or, quick striking offense or whatever, so that it's not only 15 to 16 to 17 play drives that can end in a touchdown. You got to score. Bottom line, like moving forward, you got to score. You got to score early. We cannot keep, the Saints haven't led at all this season. The Saints have, barely scored this season. I'm not even counting field goals. Just like, we got to start seeing touchdowns. We have to start seeing success on offense. We have to start seeing that they can do things more than what they've done so far. Because what they've done so far after 3 games is becoming a bit stagnant. It's becoming a bit, and maybe it does seem like things have to go right. And it does seem like Alvin Kamara has to have 90 to 100 yards on the ground. We have to have, this happen. We have to have the defense play like this. The score has to be a certain score. It's almost like, it feels like Justin Fields. Like Justin Fields has never won a game when the opponent scored 21 or more points. It feels like that. It feels like if the other team breaks a certain threshold, it feels like the Saints just don't have enough time because it takes so long and takes so much for them to put points on the board.
Holding somewhere along the way, you're going to miss a throw somewhere along the way. You're not going to convert a 3rd or 4th down somewhere along the way. It's a team that needs to be perfect to compete, and they're so far from perfect.
The Saints play exactly how you play or I play in like NCAA when you have a 1-star team, where you keep everything so safe, and the second the game gets out of hand, you get rolled because you don't have the horses to play from behind. You don't have if you throw an interception or a fumble or something crazy happens and all of a sudden you're down 14, you might as well turn the game off because it's impossible for you to come back.
This might be like a dumbass thing to say, but like it feels like every single game they aren't ready to play, right? Like they come out and they start and it's like, oh,
first quarters have been awful across the board.
Yeah. First week it's like, oh my
God. Not this awful.
Like first week, oh my God, like I don't know what's happening here. Second week, oh my God, like they're gonna get smoked, like they aren't ready to play here. And then they figure it out. I can't help but think that practicing at 2 p.m. every single day and then not being ready to play at noon. And then granted, today was a later game, so like maybe it's just the start of the game thing, but it's just like, well, if you're gonna be playing your games at noon, like practice at noon. Everybody's ready to play at noon then, and then your body's in the same rhythm. Like it just feels like everything's off. Like, and I don't know what it is, but like the whole deal this summer, it felt off. Like we bunch of times, hey man, like this practice schedule is weird. Like let's wait and see because like maybe we're wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe they got a better way of doing things. I don't think they had a better way of doing things. Hey man, like remember with Sean how long the special teams periods were? Remember how long they were with DA? Boy, those were boring. And like we joked like, man, it's great not having to watch like special teams for 45 minutes every day. Well, we probably should have been. They should have been making us watch special teams for 45 minutes every day because it's bad. Like every single week, it's bad.
I'll say this, and this is kind of what I was saying earlier about the penalties. I think when you start throwing in the wrinkles of like practice 2 hours, practice at noon instead of 2 o'clock, I think it's a bailout for the players. The idea that, if we're practicing at 12 instead of 2, would that change the performance of this team? I don't care if we're practicing at 9 p.m. We just got beat by 31. I don't care if we're practicing for 45 minutes a day at midnight. These players have to be better. Like the players have to have some responsibility and they have to be better. They have to do something. It cannot be, you talk about like things have to be perfect. I don't care if they woke up on the wrong side of the bed. They didn't have their favorite breakfast. Their favorite TV show wasn't on. They got stuck at a bunch of red lights on the way to the Superdome. Whatever. When that game starts, you got to play. And these players have to play better. Kool-Aid McKinstry cannot have 20 Pro Football Focus grades. Cesar Ruiz cannot average a 32.5 run blocking grade. That cannot happen. Blake Grupe can't miss a field goal a game because he's used to practicing at 2 p.m. This team's got to wake up. They got to be better on the field. block better, run better, throw better, catch better, tackle better, defend better, kick better, punt better, all the above. What sleep schedule be damned.
Today was the lowest point. That didn't look prepared. And then it's just like some of this timing stuff is weird, man. Like it's just like if you're playing at noon, practice at noon. Like it just seems like common sense to me. And it just feels like there's a lot of little things that are off. And when everything's going bad, you can sit here and make fun of the timing of the schedule. But I think the other things are very legitimate. Like they did not practice long enough. There wasn't enough special teams work. The timing of the penalty or the snap counts off. Well, you didn't spend enough time on it. Like that's why. Like spend more time on it, and all that'll be lined up. But they didn't. Like they decided to travel out on Thursday. They're away from home. Like I don't know. Did they have their big ass speaker out there on Friday? Like I bet they didn't, because that's probably hard to get out there from a Thursday to Friday turnaround. So like where was the noise? I don't know. Maybe the stadium had noise. I don't know. But like I just have questions about the operation and how they set up for this. And I don't know. Maybe I'm bringing a flamethrower way too early, but like
but you're right. Look, look, you're on record, especially. I think you were more concerned earlier than I was too. But that was the conclusion we reached is, well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see, but we definitely both recognize they practiced way less than we're used to seeing. And now they look like a team that practiced way less than we're used to seeing. And they that's practice was a word. I don't know if I'm trying to read between the lines. Was there code word in the way they're saying we have to practice harder? We have to be more intent on practice. Like,
I mean, I kind of feel like Allen Iverson right now. It's like, I'm sure some of it, yeah. Some of it can be attributed to lack of reps, lack of time, whatever. But I don't know. At a certain point, they're playing a game of football. Like at a certain point, it's 11 on 11. They're doing something they've done for their entire careers. And if you lose games in the margins, like the week 1, week 2, we talked about like the Saints just losing in the margins, like, okay, then you can point to, well, missed field goal here, missed this there, false start here, okay, but I think, I just have a hard time believing that that's where we're at right now, is that it's the practice schedule,
and that flips both ways. The coaches have to prepare them better, but players have to take practice seriously too. Saying you need to practice better could be a message to young guys as much as it's a message to coaches. I don't know. But that word was, we have to practice better, was absolutely being thrown around the locker room. There's no question that is part of the thing. Here's the other part of the thing. They're one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, their talent, their depth, their experience, no top 100 players on this team. Their best players are older. Their quarterback is still getting a feel for this game. They had undrafted rookies starting on the offensive line and a guy starting at right tackle that never played. But you're supposed to be perfect to overcome that stuff. This is what it looks like when you're the underdog and you do self-inflicted wounds.
Right. And that's what I was saying with the college football thing. Like when you are the underdog and you are in a tough spot already and you need things to be perfect already, and then you allow a punt block, a punt return for a touchdown, a 50-yard kickoff return, and you fail a 4th down to give them a possession on the 40-yard line, and you miss a field goal, okay, you're going to get blown out. Like that's going to happen for sure. If any of the teams, any of the bottom, 10 teams, you do that in the first half, you're going to get blown out. 100%. If you're a bad team, you need a game like Cleveland, where keep it tight, hold Green Bay to 10 points. You get an interception that's a horrible interception from Jordan Love, and then you block a field goal. Then you make some magic happen. Like that's how you have to do it. That's how you win games like that. Is Cleveland better than Green Bay? No. If Green Bay and Cleveland play, does Green Bay win 80% of the time? Yeah. But that's how you do it. And if Cleveland would have allowed Green Bay to have a punt return for a touchdown, if Cleveland would have had a punt blocked, if Cleveland would have went for it on 4th down and missed it, if Cleveland would have missed a field goal, if they would have done all that stuff, guess what? Green Bay would have won 35-10, 35-3, whatever it would have been. And that absolutely is how bad teams get blown out.
Yeah. It's not good, man. Like it just doesn't. It's not. It is not. It is not good. I don't know. I don't know where it goes from here. Like this was a little bit confidence eroding. Like they just have
No
to.
question.
They have to figure it out very, very, very quickly here because I
Yeah.
really think that at a certain point it could turn. Like you can't be unprepared every single week. I think a lot of the players probably are realistic about what the talent level is, where they're going, what their goals are, and the young guys probably are like, "Hey, look, I'm here to build this. Like, I get it. I'm here to put in bricks, lay them down. But if you are not ready to play, like, it's just straight up that's not okay. Like, it really does have to change quickly. I'm not ready to give up on the coach. Like, I think there's still some really smart stuff with him, but like the thing about like the whole practice schedule and all that, like the goal of it was to not have injuries. And then you get to week 3 of the season going into the game and you have more guys on injured reserve than 28 other teams in the NFL. It didn't work.
I just have a hard time believing that Kellen Moore can be around as long as he's been around, just came from a Super Bowl winning team and saw how a Super Bowl winning operation is. Brandon Staley was a head coach. I have a hard time believing that they're just lost, just completely lost on how to build out a practice schedule.
Yeah.
Plan didn't work. Like,
yeah. And
like
you're losing
all
a
together.
couple every week. Important guys. You're losing important guys every week too. So that doesn't mean it's the reason why, but it just means it's unavoidable. Like don't not practice at the expense of that because
Yes.
You didn't get it. And look, I use the Carolina Panthers as an example. If you want to leave this on a high note, I picked the Saints. I projected the Saints to start 0-4. We all did. We like looked at the schedule and we're like they're probably going to start 0-4. And I think the comp I kept making was the Panthers who were 1-8 and then finished 4-5 in the second half of their season. That we always knew that was what this team appeared to be headed for when we were like making record predictions at the beginning of the season. 5 total wins, 4 of them will probably come in the second half of the season. But it's just really hard when you see what that actually looks like. And this is what
And Mike just laid it out perfectly. I think that's what's happening. I think when you project out 5-12 or 6-11 or 7-10 or whatever, it's easy to throw those numbers out there. But then when you watch your team lose 11 games, 10 games, 12 games, some of them are going to be ugly. When you are one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL or whatever, you're going to get blown out. You're going to have bad weeks. And to watch it and see it is frustrating. 100%. But if you run the simulation, I'm guessing 75% of the time, the Saints probably start 0-4. And here we are now 0-4, and people are like the Pikachu meme where they're surprised. The question isn't, can we beat Seattle on the road? The question isn't, can we beat Buffalo on the road? The question is, can we beat New York at home? Can we beat the Panthers? Can we beat the Falcons? Can we beat the Jets and the Titans and the Bears and the Dolphins? And that's the question. So I'll go ahead and get in front of this. Do not be surprised if we lose at Buffalo. Right? We're 17-point dogs on the road. We're going from Seattle to Buffalo. And I'm gonna have people saying, here we are again. We lost in week 3. We lost in week 4. I can't believe this. I can't believe we just lost again. If we lose in Buffalo, more than likely, we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 9 more losses coming. All right? It's in front of you. The rebuild, the whatever, the young team, the tear it down, the Mickey Loomis won't. All he does is try and win. All to say the Saints won't rebuild. The Saints won't. It's in front of you. This is what it looks like. Now, does that mean the Saints are going to go 0-17, 1-16, 2-15? I don't think it's that bad. I think we do compete and beat the Carolinas, the Atlantas, the Miamis, the Chicagos, the New Englands, the Tennessees, the Jets, the Giants. I think in that group, there's 4 to 6. I think you can get some wins. Do I think we're going to go beat Seattle on the road? Do I think we're going to go beat Buffalo? Do I think we're going to beat Seattle with Torricelli Simpkins and a backup right tackle, and no. Like, no, I don't. And do things have to get better? Absolutely. Secondary has to get way better. Offensive line has to get healthy and better. For sure, we got to run the ball better. Like all that, no doubt. The practice schedule, let's get it figured out. Set your body clocks to 11 a.m., whatever you got to do. Eat your Wheaties, get some grape nuts, whatever. Get some asparagus in the building. I don't know. Get your nutritionist. Hey, guys, go to bed, 9:30 p.m.'s, curfew, whatever. Some hot baths. Do what you got to do. Get a sensu bean. You got to play better. But sometimes, and this is one of those times, there is not a boogeyman to find. There is not a Dennis Allen to blame. There is not a Pete Carmichael to blame. There is not a Derek Carr. It's a weak team. It's a young, rebuilding roster. It's a rookie head coach. There is not a Band-Aid to rip off. And that's a hard reality to have because people are so used to pointing at the boogeyman. Dennis Allen, fire him. Pete Carmichael, fire him. This is the problem. That's the problem. Derek Carr is the problem. Whatever's the problem. When you have a team like this, in a situation like this, there isn't that. At least not right now. In year 2, in year 3, if it's not working and it keeps trending bad, then all of a sudden there is a Band-Aid to rip off. But in week 3 of a full-on rebuild with rookies everywhere, including the head coach, it's just not a Band-Aid.
It actually looks.
Yeah, but if they're headed for that, they might be tearing it down before you get to that.
I like seeing Quincy Riley out there forcing a fumble. It's the best thing that happened today.
He's got to play.
It was. Yeah. All right. Well, that was Mike's high note. I'm going to bring it back down to a low note right after this break when we get back to the show.
I feel like I was freaking cooking during that video, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I was on the damn Iron Chef. I was straight up poetry. God, dog. I'm really impressed with myself. I might watch this video a couple times just myself. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get on down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.